These two words, manifest and unmanifest, are very popular in this world. But the truth doesn't ever become manifest or unmanifest. Truth is ever evident. In fact, what becomes manifest and unmanifest is only the names and forms. What is created? These names and forms. These visible names and forms suddenly become unseen to me. Sometimes they are seen. In the waking state they are visible. In the dream state they are visible. And in the deep sleep state they are not visible. This is universally known. When it is visible, somehow or other this particular word is there called it is manifest to my senses. It means only it's manifest to my senses. And it is unmanifest means unmanifest to my senses. And even in the deep sleep state, when they become unmanifest, even the senses become unmanifest. So ultimately it means they are unmanifest to my sight. It's manifest to my sight. It becomes unmanifest to my sight. But the sight itself doesn't become manifest or unmanifest. It's ever. For the names and forms to become unmanifest, the sight has to be there, because the names and forms can become unmanifest only to the sight. To the sight they are unmanifest, to the sight they are manifest, but the sight itself is ever present. That is the truth. Man's sight is the truth. The way the form becomes now manifest, now unmanifest, in water, and that water is ever evident. The water doesn't disappear, the wave, the form disappears unto water. So this is the meaning of the word manifest or unmanifest. Don't say that truth becomes manifest as names and forms. That is wrong. Manifest word, unmanifest word, don't apply to the truth, they apply to only the names and forms. Prapancha is vyakritam. Prapancha becomes avyakritam. In the reality, in the truth. Like the wave becomes manifest in water and becomes unmanifest in water, in the same manner, the names and forms become manifest in the self and become unmanifest in the self. But here, sir, if the sight doesn't become ever unmanifest, then the sight becoming unlimited also doesn't become unmanifest. If the sight doesn't become unmanifest, then the sight being the self, the sight being oneself, the sight being unlimited, the nature of the sight as Brahman also doesn't become unmanifest. And yet here in this sutra it is said, your reflection makes the unmanifest nature manifest. There we need to do little editing. There is nothing wrong in that. You should take charge of your reflection. You should take charge of your understanding, please. It's not something you are being led by a belief. You are a reality, and the reality has to understand itself. Therefore, you have to take charge of your understanding. Therefore, you are not being led by a belief. You are not being led by a prophet. You are not being led even by a teacher. A teacher points out and he disappears. Then the reflection you have to take charge of. Mananam you have to take charge of. Therefore, a bit of editing has to be done. Mananam makes the unmanifest nature manifest, matlab. Mananam makes the ununderstood nature understood. Because the nature can never become unmanifest. Embodiment becomes manifest. Embodiment becomes unmanifest. Embodiment becomes manifest. Embodiment becomes unmanifest in the self, but that self itself doesn't become manifest or unmanifest. Therefore, even though we say that reflection makes the unmanifest nature manifest, it means reflection makes the ununderstood nature of yourself becomes understood. To be ignorant of something is what is called the unmanifest state of that something. The truth, especially here, the truth. And therefore, paravidhyanatu, this is the sutra we were doing. By meditating upon the truth. By meditating upon the truth means by exploring, looking into oneself. Looking into one's conscious identity is called meditation on the truth, on the Paramatma. The form is identification with the form, makes me Jivatma, and a soul conscious identity. Conscious identity doesn't have any mixture in it. Conscious identity is solely conscious, like water is solely water. It's not a mixture. In that manner, silence is only a silence. It's not made up, it's not an assemblage of things. Silence is not an assemblage of things. Similarly, the observer is not an assemblage of things. And therefore, reflection upon the unassembled nature of oneself, the conscious identity, its being unlimited that is not understood becomes understood. Its being not understood as free from time becomes understood. Its nature of being Brahman ununderstood becomes understood. So, the reflection only makes the ununderstood understood. The reflection doesn't make the unmanifest manifest. Because the truth never becomes unmanifest. You have to follow this. Paramatma is now unmanifest. It becomes manifest. No. When the wave doesn't understand its own being water, not that the water, that fact that it is water, the fact that the wave is water, it's not that it is unmanifest. the fact that it is water is ununderstood. That very ununderstood situation itself is described as unmanifest state. Therefore, strictly speaking, truth doesn't ever become unmanifest. Therefore, what does Mananam do? It doesn't excavate the truth. It doesn't bring the truth out, please. These are all poetic stupidities. It's not true. Truth can't really go underground hibernation and again manifest. ऐसा नहीं है. Truth is not something, it can become invisible now and invisible now, unevident now and evident now. In fact, what is evident to the sight, and what is unevident to the sight. The sight is ever evident. When the sight is ever evident, the sight never becomes unmanifest. And therefore, reflection doesn't make the unevident truth evident, please. Don't have that expectation. Your reflection can only be directed to understand what is ununderstood about yourself, which is ever evident. The distinction between you and the form is ever evident. Seeing it is the result of reflection. The distinction between the dissimilarity between the knower, the observer, the seer and the seen is ever evident. And seeing that ever evident difference is the result of reflection. Meaning the reflection always ends up in seeing what is so far not seen. Not that it really excavates, digs out the truth. Meditation can dig out the truth. ऐसा कुछ नहीं. It's wrong, because understanding the truth is only determining the nature of one's existence. The aham, the conscious being, cannot be a form. Determining this fact is called the whole Vedanta. Like a scientist determines, yes, the earth is not flat. He just determines. He makes exploration and then determines. Determines means he fixes the point. निर्णय करता है, निश्चय करता है. Similarly, Vedanta does the tattva nishchaya. Vedanta does the nishchaya. What does the nishchaya? What is the nishchaya? That Atma is unlike Anatma, but the source of Anatma, unqualified by Anatma, and from its own point of view it is non-dual. These things are determined. Mananam, Adhyayanam, Mananam, Shravanam do not dig out the truth. The unmanifest becomes manifest is only a hope. You wait for it, the unmanifest to become manifest. And it never, because it is ever evident. What is ever evident doesn't become manifest, ji. Therefore, don't wait for something to happen. Always understand what is not understood. And what is it that is not understood? The great dissimilarity between, the great distinction between, the great difference between the seer and the seen. That difference is seen. That's called understanding the truth proper. That seeing the difference itself culminates in nirviseshatvam. Slow. That's where you begin, seeing the difference. Seeing the difference between the seer and the seen. Seeing the difference between the source and the creation. Seeing the difference between causation and freedom from causation. All these things. Seeing the difference. Seeing the difference between you and what you are not makes a difference in life. Nothing else can make a difference. Paravidhyanatu tirohitam. Tirohitam, it is said, tirohitam means what is unmanifest. Tataha tato hyasya bandhavin viparyayau. Jiva has a bondage because of his ignorance. Jiva has moksha because of his knowledge. Whereas it is said in this sutra, when the nature is unmanifest, it is bandha. When his nature is manifest, it is moksha. But little editing has to be done. Nature doesn't become manifest or unmanifest. You have the capacity because you are being the truth. Every living being with intelligence is the truth. Even without intelligence, it is the truth. As the truth, you have to handle the truth. Because you have the nature of being the truth. It is the ocean that has to determine itself as the ocean. Therefore, don't think. Shruti may say so many things. Ultimately, I have to understand myself. And when the Shruti doesn't say anything wrong, but I have to sometimes understand it, the unmanifestness must be understood as ignorance. Manifestness has to be understood as understanding. Study doesn't change things. Study doesn't change the unmanifest manifest. The study doesn't change the manifest unmanifest. Nor Shravanam does so. Nor Mananam does so. What is in our hands is not really bringing about changes. You can't bring about any changes. You can only understand the truth as it is. Understanding the truth as it is the job of the intelligence. Some empirical changes I may bring about make no difference at all. Even if I bring about changes in my life, my problem, I will continue to be a jiva. I start wearing some western dress, I remain a jiva. I start taking oats in the morning, I remain a jiva. These so-called changes mean nothing. You renounce everything and live a simple life, you remain a jiva. You live a very rich man's life, you remain a jiva. Don't try to bring about changes in your life, understand life. With all the changes, it is still life, and that life needs to be understood. That is how I think. I am talking very fundamentally because I am teaching BRAHMASUTRAS. When I am teaching BRAHMASUTRAS, I can't really explain it away in an empirical manner. It is a fundamental literature. I have to do justice to Vedanta. Therefore, bringing about changes, reaching places, creating new things, modifying things, purifying things, it doesn't work. Even if you are a very great Puritan, that you will remain a jiva. You are a perfectionist, still you remain a jiva. You have a lot of servants and keep the house spick and span clean and you enjoy it. But so what? You are a jiva. You go to America and live a dust-free life. So what? You are a jiva. In the dust you are a jiva. free from dust also, you are a jiva. Swamiji, we have understood it. All right, if you have understood it, then we will go ahead. Therefore, you can't bring about any change in God's creation. You can't change God's laws. You can't change the situation of being hungry. I can't really jump out of my body. I can slowly understand how I am distinct from the body. I can understand the situation. I can't change the situation. But Swamiji, if you can only understand the situation, does it give you freedom from the situation? Yes. When you understand your embodiment situation correctly, you understand it as false. Embodiment is itself false. Your existence is real. Is that true? Yes. Your existence is real. Your embodiment is false. And therefore, when you understand the situation doesn't become a burden. Any situation properly understood ceases to be a burden. Maybe the empirical situations are perhaps different. If I understand the situation, this is snake, I can't remove the snake, but I can understand this is false. And it actually is rope, seen as snake. If I understand that situation correctly, then the situation is not a problem. Spiritual self-ignorance is something, this embodiment is a situation. Understood correctly, there is no situation. Then there is only the truth. Dream understood as a dream, you are free from the dream. Mirage understood as mirage, you are free from mirage. Only the error is something. By understanding the mistake, there is no mistake. Until I understand the mistake as a mistake, it looks to be right. It looks to be real. But once I see, my God, this is a mistake, I am free from the mistake. Therefore, understanding is glorious. Bringing about change is nothing. Because you bring about change and again change again, it will come back. It's like a tidal wave, a tide moves and again it goes back. Change is like a tide of change. That is why it's called a tide of change. It's a tide of change. Means what? You bring about a change and again it can be reversed. Yes. Last time they all vote one party and this time they may vote another party. This changes the hota hai ji. Nothing great about it. There is nothing worth being happy in this world because everything can be reversed. You are rich, it can be reversed. You are poor, it can be reversed. You are victorious, it can be reversed. Nothing great about it. You are unhealthy, it can be reversed. Don't spend time with these reversible situations. But embodiment is, it can be understood as false, not reversible. That means I can't change about, I can't do any change about. God's creation can only be understood, it can't be changed. Perception cannot be changed. Perception can be corrected. Anyway, therefore, mananam does not, dhyanam, meditation does not change, does not bring the unmanifest truth manifest. This is the summary. Meditation does not make the unmanifest truth manifest. Then what does meditation do? The meditation makes the ununderstood truth understood. इसमें कोई फर्क है? बहुत ज़्यादा फर्क है जी. Because the truth is ever evident. It is the names and forms. They become now manifest, now unmanifest, now visible, now not visible. Embodiment is now felt, not now felt. Thoughts are now felt, not now felt. The creation is now felt, not now felt. Dream is now felt, not now felt. In this manner, it is the creation that has Vyakriti and Avyakriti in the truth. But the truth is ever obvious. Your existence is ever obvious. Everything is manifest to you. Everything becomes unmanifest to you. That you is ever, don't say ever manifest, say ever evident. Anyway you have to use a word. Why not use the right word? Don't say truth is ever manifest. Truth is ever swata siddham, self-evident. Why can't we say, Swamiji, it's eternally manifest? Anyway you have to use the word. Use the right word. If it is eternally manifest, then what does it mean? It is not manifest. It is, manifestation is a kind of a kriya. It is a kartritvam, it is a kriya. It becomes manifest. It becomes unmanifest to the sight, and the sight is. It doesn't become manifest. It is. That word is applies only to the truth. Everything else becomes. You become rich. Nobody can say, I am rich. See, you have become rich. Correct your language. You have become rich. And you may become poor. Don't say, I am rich. You can only say, I am Brahman. That is the only thing. I am Brahman. Don't even say, I am the body. I think I am the body. Deha yogadva sopi. Next sutra ji. Deha yogadva sopi. Is it not true, sir, that Jiva is an amsha of Paramatma? When the Jiva is an amsha of Paramatma, Jiva can become manifest in Brahman and unmanifest in Brahman. Jiva doesn't become manifest and unmanifest. Jivatvam becomes manifest and unmanifest. Not Jiva. Jivatvam becomes manifest and unmanifest. Because in Jiva there is Paramatma with an error that I am the Deha, it becomes the Jiva. It is the Paramatma that looks like Jiva. It is the Paramatma that looks like an ant. It is the Paramatma that looks like a cow, like a bird, like a man, like a woman, that like a young, old, even a plant. Wherever there is breathing, wherever there is life, it is Paramatma that looks like that living thing. And therefore, Jiva doesn't become manifest and unmanifest. To be strictly speaking, if you are very correct in your language, then it should be Jivatvam becomes manifest and unmanifest in the Swarupa of the Jiva called the Paramatma. Jivatvam becomes manifest and unmanifest. That is why it said, Deha Yoga Dva, due to association with Deha. Sopi, within the Deha Yoga, within the embodiment is the situation of non-understanding, within the embodiment is the situation of misunderstanding, Within the embodiment is within the embodiment itself is misunderstanding. Within that misunderstanding is the situation of non-understanding and right understanding. And therefore, mananam alone can make you understand the ununderstood. What is mananam? It's not a kriya. It is seeing your existence vis-a-vis the form. Seeing your existence as different from the form. Next ji. Tadabhavaham nadishu tachrutehe atmanicha. These names and forms in the nadis, otherwise called the sushupti, are non-existent from the sushupti as an anubhava. Tad abhavaha. See, this is all analysis of the sushupti. Tad abhavaha. It is not unmanifest, it is abhavaha. In sushupti, the names and forms are absent. You are free from the names and forms. In ignorance, it is called the unmanifest state. In ignorance, from the waking point of view, it is described as a state of darkness, a state of ignorance, etc., etc. But otherwise, as a state of experience in sushupti, when you are in deep sleep, taking it as anubhava, in that anubhava there is no name and form. There is no reference to the presence of the forms, nor there is a reference to the absence of the forms. A reference to the absence means the memory of the prior presence. Therefore, when you don't see it, you don't remember it. That means you are free from both the presence and absence. In the deep sleep state, one doesn't see the forms, one doesn't even remember the forms. When there is no perception and there is no memory, then you are free from both the form and the idea of their absence. Actually, all that we need to take it, even though abhava is played up in the world, in the Shastra, man is free from the presence of the world and absence of the world, etc. But the absence of the world is nothing but memory. Without remembering the prior presence, how can I describe really, how can I think of the absence? Therefore, remembering the prior presence of my friend is otherwise called reference to the absence. But in the deep sleep state, there is no perception of the form. There is no memory. That means you are free from both the presence of the forms as well as the idea of the absence of the forms. And that is the anubhava, freedom from the form. It is anubhava. In that anubhava, the nama-rupas are not there. They are not unmanifest. Therefore, tad abhava, the names and forms are absent. Meaning the truth is non-dual. In sushupti, the truth is non-dual. Nadishu, call it in the nadis, in the nerves, atmanicha, it means in one's, inside atma there is absence of the names and forms. Nadishu you can ignore. Nadishu means in that avastha iti. In the sushupti avastha there are no names and forms. Thus, Sushupti is analyzed by the Brahmasutras as Advitiyam. It's not a given man's figment of imagination. This sutra explains tad abhavaha nadishu tad shrutehe atmani cha. As per the Shruti, Brahmasutra says, as per the Shruti, in the Sushupti there are no names and forms. It is Advaitam. Therefore, Sushupti is not a state of ignorance. It is not a state of darkness. It is not a state of absence. It is not a state of the unmanifest. Aisa nahi. Going by the anubhava, going by your experience tells you that you are one without a second. It's a non-dual. And therefore, if Atma is non-dual in Sushupti, in the Jagrati it doesn't become Dvaitam. It continues to be non-dual, and what appears as the Dvaitam is Adhyasa. Before the thought, if it is non-dual, after the thought also it should be non-dual. Thought being a creation. Mayika Srishti, Maya Srishti. Creation means it being an appearance doesn't taint the source. Before the pot maker makes the pot, what I see is the clay. And then after some time I see in the place of the clay a pot. I understand. It is made of the clay. In the Sushupti there is Advaitam, and in the Jagrata I see the embodiment. It means this embodiment is an appearance within the Advaitam. Within the Advaitam is the embodiment and appearance. Within the Advaitam is the appearance of the creation. And that is testified by the Anubhava. There is no other way. I see the clay. Uddalaka gives the same example. A man went from one village to another village. On the way he saw a pot, there a pile of clay ready for making pots. And when he came back in the evening, in the place of that pile of clay, he saw a pile of pots. That pile of clay is Sushupti, and that pile of pots is the Jagrat. Therefore, within the Sushupti there is Anubhava of the Advaitam. Within the Advaitam, right in that Advaitam appears the embodiment and the creation. This establishes that Advaitam is the reality and Advaitam is an appearance. Therefore, Sushupti, going by the Anubhava, is not a state of ignorance. It is Abhava. It is freedom from all the Dvaitam. Freedom from the names and forms. Tad Abhavaha, Nadishu, Tad Shrutehe, Atmanicha. Thus, always look at the deep sleep state as an Anubhava, not as an inference. That you are in this hall is not inferred by you. It's your knowledge, it's your experience. Don't unnecessarily play up inferences in the Vedanta. Go by your experience. You don't infer dukkham. Dukkham is pratyakshan, it's evident. Anubhava vishayam. Sukham is anubhava vishayam. Advaitam is anubhava swarupam. Dvaitam is anubhava vishayam. But the Dvaitam, the Anubhava Vishayam, appears right in the Anubhava Swarupam. Therefore, Anubhava Swarupam, the Atma, is the truth of Anubhava Vishayam. And therefore don't look upon Sushupti as absence of things. Don't look upon Sushupti as darkness. Don't look upon Sushupti as absence of things, darkness or ignorance. It is your peaceful presence. Understanding the deep sleep state as your peaceful presence, that you minus the label, even the labels are not there. A man sleeping or a woman sleeping, or that manness, womanness, fatherness, son. That is why the Shruti says, Atra pita, apita bhavati. Yes, Hari Bate, you have to reflect. See? Here, there, pita becomes apita. Jiva becomes ajiva. There it is Advaitam. And right in that Advaitam you open your eyes. You don't leave the Advaitam and then see something. Because Advaitam is your presence. Where do you leave your presence? You continue your presence. And then, please understand, death also. Don't look upon death as negation of things, absence of things, darkness or ignorance, blackout. Death is your presence. Understanding death, your non-dual presence, the idea, the notions about the death are falsified. There is no other way. Death as notions death as ignorance, death as darkness, death as blackout, etc. gets falsified. You understand it is your presence. Like when you close your eyes and just you can always think of that eyes closed situation. Even in the waking state, you close your eyes, you can always interpret that state as absence of sound, absence of thought. It's a state of darkness. But actually, what is that state? It is a silent presence of yourself. You are quietly present. When you close your eyes and then be, it is not a state of absence of sight. It's not a state of absence of this or that. It is a state of your presence. When the wave falls, it's not a state of the absence of the wave. It is a state of the presence of water. Because every state is a presence of something. A state cannot be interpreted as absence of something because you don't experience absence of something. You always experience as the presence. When you are meditating, it is not a state of absence of thought. It is a state of your presence, subject's presence. There is no state of object's absence. When the object is, it is your presence. When the object is not there, it is your presence. Thus, understand death also in the same manner as the Sushupti. Just as Sushupti is your presence, within which you see the embodiment, your embodiment, death also is your presence. And that silent present self alone takes re-embodiment. Thus Sushupti is analyzed in Brahmasutras as the Swarupa Avastha. And don't think that there is no reference to, it's not analyzed in Brahmasutras. Sushupti as Advaitam is analyzed. Of course, Upanishads talk about Sat Sampatti. Next sutra see. Ataham Prabodaham Asmat. Therefore, Siddha. Ataha, therefore. If Sushupti is Advaitam, therefore, right in Advaitam is the embodiment. Ataha Prabodaha, the waking state, Asmat, from that. From the Advaitam is the waking state. That means the Advaitam is the material and the waking state is the made. Ataha, therefore, sa. If the deep sleep state is non-dual state, and right in that you wake up, that means the waking state is made of the non-dual. I can also use some other language. Deep sleep state is as silence, absolute silence. And right in that silence you see embodiment. Therefore the embodiment is made of silence. Conscious silence, of course. And therefore Brahmasutra analyzes Sushupti as the evidence of the Advaitam. If we interpret Sushupti as only a state of ignorance, Jagrat is a state of error, dream as a state of error, Sushupti as a state of only ignorance. Now, my question would be, where is the evidence of the non-dual? Where is the evidence of the non-dual? If you talk about the non-dual, where is the evidence? That is why Sushupti, as viewed by man, as viewed in ignorance, as viewed by a layman universally, is a state of blackout, etc. But going by the Anubhava, it is a non-dual state. And according to the Shastra, it is a source of the creation. It is taught as the source. It is Advitiyam, but taught as the source. So now there are three stands. A layman's stand, Shastric stand, and the Anubhava stand. A layman's stand, it is a state of blackout, it is a state of ignorance, state of absence, etc., etc. From the Anubhava point of view, it is a non-dual state. It is a non-dual presence of oneself. From the Shastra point of view, it is taught as a part of Prakriya, it is taught as the source, is Ishvara. And therefore, Ataha Prabodaha Asmat. Therefore, the waking state is an appearance in the non-dual state. And therefore, the non-duality is evidenced by the Anubhava, not understood. Non-dual nature is a matter of experience, but not registered. This becomes established. Next G. Karma, Anusmriti, Shabda, Vidhi Adhikaranam, Sayevatu, Karma, Anusmriti, Shabda, Vidibhyaha. The one in Sushupti alone wakes up, not another being. That is why, on what basis? Karma. Because whatever karma you left, whatever karma, whatever duty you left undone yesterday, you start doing today after waking up. That means it is the same being. Sayevatu, the same being. How do you understand this? Because he continues his duty. What was left behind before going to sleep? What was left undone before going to sleep? After waking up, he starts doing it. Karma. Anusmriti. There is also pratyabhijna. Anusmriti means pratyabhijna. The pratyabhijna is the I who experienced the deep sleep state alone is awake. Waking is to me, dream is to me, sleep is to me. The I who slept alone is awake now. So, according to Pratyabhijna, it is the same being. Shabda and the Shruti also says it is the same. It is the same being. And vidibhyaha, Shabda vidibhyaha, and the same being is given the mandates. Because before I went to sleep, I was violent, and after waking up, I am given mandates. Don't be violent. All the do's and don'ts are given to the same jiva. The same conscious being is there in all the three states. The sameness of the being in all the three states is established through continuing one's action, pratyabhijna, etc. Even though there are a lot of things, but you concentrate on pratyabhijna. You are the dreamer, you are the waker, you are the same I goes to the waking, dream and sleep, and again all the three states are for me is a matter of recognition, is anubhava. It's my anubhava. Waking is my anubhava, dream is my anubhava, sleep is my anubhava. All the three states are my anubhava is evident. Therefore, you don't have to infer on the basis of the karma or on the basis of the Shastram or on the basis of the do's and don'ts. Actually, the oneness, ekayeva tridha smritaha. It is the one being that is the experiencer of all the three states. Has to be understood in the light of the pratyabhijna, one's own anubhava. It's evident that waking is to me, dream is to me, sleep is to me. Therefore, not only all the three states are to me, the three states can become manifest and unmanifest, but the truth never becomes manifest and unmanifest. Therefore, reflection does not make the unmanifest truth manifest, but the reflection makes the ununderstood truth understood. But the truth is ever evident. Don't say it is ever manifest. It's a wrong language. You can't say ever manifest nahi. It's ever evident. Nitya swata siddham. It is nitya siddham. Swataha siddham. Manifest means vyakritam and avyakritam. But we say that it is ever manifest, but we mean that. We say, why don't you say what you mean? You don't have to again play the role of a Shastra. Sometimes Shastra says something and we have to get the tatparyam out of it. You don't have to become another. You have a choice to use the right words. Use the right words. Okay, ji. The next sutra is a swoon, mugdavastha. When a person falls unconscious, is it like the deep sleep state? Or is it slightly different from the deep sleep state? See, a person can fall unconscious, need not be after getting tired. When he is hurt, he becomes unconscious. Unconscious means his sense perception becomes blocked. Consciousness is never negated, thinking process becomes negated. Even the identity with the form gets blocked. It's hurt. A man falls asleep when he is tired. A man falls unconscious when he is hurt. That is the difference. When a man is injured, hurt, he falls unconscious. But then Swamiji, both are transcending thought. Yes. From the Anubhava Drishti it is the same. From Jagrad Drishti there too. Transcendence of the thought, transcending thought whether in swoon or in sleep is the same from that point of view. But from the point of view of the Jagrat, they are two different states. Jagrad Drishti ke anusar, they are two different. Swoon, Mugdavastha is different from Sushupti. But from the Satsampatti, from the transcendence point of view, whether you transcend thought in Mugdavastha, or transcend thought in death, or transcend thought in Sushupti, it is the same. From the Swarupa Drishti, it is the same. From the Jagrad Drishti, there is a difference. This we will see in the next class. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.